Now with the super word, we are going to apply a 3D effect to this. So similar to what we've just done with lettering, we're going to duplicate this layer, but just once. So swipe to the left, click duplicate. With the bottom one selected, let's just turn off the top of those two layers. We're going to colour this grey. So again, we go through that process of tapping on the thumbnail, clicking alpha lock, clicking on a mid grey, and then tapping on the thumbnail again and selecting fill layer. So it fills that just the lettering with the colour. Click on the thumbnail again and select alpha lock. And we're going to bring back the top of those two layers. What we want to do now is we're going to move this, like we did with the lettering, down and to the right. So again, click on the arrow, making sure snapping is on. We're going to bring it down and to the right. I think I'm happy with the length of that shadow. So clicking the arrow again. Now what we're going to do is, with the same colour and on the same layer and with the monoline brush selected, we are going to go around the whole of the word. I'll give the example of the E here, where we're going to join the corners together. So the corner of the black to the corner of the grey. And what it does is it leaves a little triangle, and then we're going to fill that little triangle in. As we can see, it's starting to connect those two together to make it more blocky. So we're going to go around all our letters doing that, joining wherever we see two edges, two corners that we can join up. And they're all going in the same direction, they're all going this bottom right way, 45-degree angle. And if you come upon a letter that's got curves in it, you draw a slightly curved version of what we're doing there, of the 45-degree angle. And fill it in. Same with the P here. And the S has multiple ones because you've got some inside here as well. And if it's covered, then just match it up with the other corners that you've been doing. So at this 45-degree angle down and to the right. There we go, and then you just check over your work and just see if you've got all of them. I normally miss one. Been a good day and I haven't today. So that was stage one. Stage two is to apply a darker tone to the panels to emphasize the 3D effect. So all the panels that are facing downwards, we're going to make this darker color. So we select a darker shade, and on the E, for example, we're going to shade it here, here, and here. So all those ones that are facing down, we get a darker color on them. So what we're going to do is going to create a new layer first to do this on. So then if we change color, we can change the equivalent darker shade as well. But rather than just a layer on its own, we're going to make it a clipping mask. And a clipping mask, as I mentioned before, is where everything on that layer is restricted to the layer below. So if we click on it, then anything we draw will be restricted to just that grey layer, which is really helpful because when we want to, what we're going to do is draw a line where we're joining those corners up, and we're going to fill in this whole area here. Now, the quickest way to do this is to draw around the whole thing, making sure that it joins up. So if I turn the clipping mask off, you can see that we can then just fill that area. Then we can turn the clipping mask back on, and you can see it's restricted to that area. So it might be easier for you to turn the clipping mask off, draw in these shapes, so you can see that you fill them in, and then turn it back on again. Or you can do it with the clipping mask on, so you do a nice straight diagonal there, and another one over this side, and hope that you've joined them up and you can fill them. If you don't join them up, it's not a problem. So you've drawn that, thinking you've drawn that, it will leak out, so you just undo. And if you want to see it, you can just turn off the black layer and just make sure you've joined it up. Like so. Alternatively, you can just colour it in manually if you're worried about it going everywhere when you fill it. But as you can see, it's slowly making it more 3D with this extra tone on the panels. When you come to doing a slightly curved one, the same applies. We just do where the curve turns to go up into the vertical from the horizontal, we draw that 45-degree line, fill it in, and sometimes what I like to do is just do another line on its own to emphasize that it's a corner. Same on the P, right on the bend, we draw a line and draw another line there, and then we just fill in this area here. As long as it's pointing down this way, that's where we need to put this darker shade. It doesn't matter if you make a mess, we can either undo it or we can just erase it. That's the advantage of doing it on a separate layer. When it comes to the S, there's obviously a lot more that needs to be filled than the rest of the letters. So we've got this panel in here, so we just need to make sure that it doesn't overlap here. And then we've got this area here and this area here we need to fill. When we look over our word, make sure we've got all the areas where we need to do it. I think that's done. And that's our 3D lettering, and it's quite an impactful look. It really stands off the page. And it's one of the effects I apply the most, I think, at the moment.